how do you feel about the underground's connection and relationship with TikTok?
At the end of the day, that's what puts people's light bills on. That's what keeps people's powers on. That's what keeps people's water running. Without fans, you are nothing. And that's just how it is. It's an artist.
Again, I'm here, another interview. I'm on my ground. Listen, get hype, because I'm here with the cultural figure, a figurehead of the underground, a rising star, a micro celebrity. I'm truly honored to have him here. My friend, introduce yourself.
What's good? I'm Typhoon. I make music, of course. Nothing too big on it. Nothing too big. That's really about it. I make music, and I'm kind of just here. I love the underground. I love everybody here.
Hey man, you said it first. I love the underground too. So listen, let's talk about how it all happened and how'd you get here and what's the reason you started making music in the first place?
Man, oh my God, that one's a story. I ain't gonna lie with you. So it all started, I think, right after I broke up with my girlfriend, and I kept telling myself, I guess around this time, that I want to make music. I want to make music. I never got into it because I didn't have like the support structure. I didn't have like any friends, I guess. And you know, people were obviously telling me, hey, you can make music, you can do it. And I really wasn't listening. I was just like, you know what? They're right, but I was just too lazy. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I think it was around like December, I put my foot down. And I was like, I gotta do this, because that was the one thing I wanted to do before being an adult. I always liked music. And then I got tired of listening to music and being like, oh my God, he could have said this. This would have been so hard. Oh my God, you know, maybe that would have been a bar. You know, it would have been fire. And so I was just like, you know what, I want to do it myself. So that's how that happened. And then I think it's been 9 months. It hasn't even been a full year since I've been making music. So I'm doing it pretty consistently too. So I definitely think that this is something I want to do. And that's how that all started.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I really feel like a lot of people can resonate with that message because quite honestly, like I feel like there's a lot of things that aren't being done in the music world that's just been floating around. A lot of ideas are in our head that almost like a collective consciousness that the underground has. You really look at the underground in its totality, like there's certain themes, certain sounds that float around. Like for example, the usage of purity in like different subgenres, but the versatility of it, you know, just hearing the certain sounds and it conveys a certain emotion. And I think that's what's going on here.
I definitely think that there's a lot of ideas in the underground that like needs to be done. And honestly, to a lot of the people that want to do whatever they want to do it. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter if anybody says this is trash. If at the end of the day, if you think mixing the sounds of like Smoke and Skull and Blade or fire, go and do it. If you want to mix any other sound, go and do it, because you never know what could blow up. You never know what could be there. You never know. Use that hate as determination. And that's the one thing I did, and it just put me in a position to where I can say I love music. It put me in a position to where I feel confident enough to just put out any sound I want. It put me in a position where I truly can say that this is more than just a hobby, on some real shit.
I think it's kind of ironic, actually. I was talking about this with somebody else in another interview, how sometimes as artists, we get afraid of that rejection. Oh my God, nobody's gonna like this. The hate comments in the bottom of the YouTube video or whatever streaming service you on. But it's crazy because when it happens, we use it as motivation to make even greater art.
Exactly. And I can put that as an example, as a really good example, actually. I actually went on, I remember you were hosting music the same way Moon did. And I came on there and I was like, this is an opportunity. And I put my name up there. And because it was a sample, I think that a lot of people, even within the Black community, didn't really mess with it enough. When you first hear the beat, and if you played video games your entire life instead of just focusing on sports, you're gonna be like, oh, wait, hold on, this is something different, you know, because it's Street Fighter. But when it came to showing off that music, even though we thought it was hard for like a summer hit, most people didn't. So when it started getting a little bit of traction, you know, and I came to you and it was like, you liked it, it was like, okay, keep doing this. It was like, okay, don't give up yet. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it was just like, it was more of an opportunity, I'd say, to kind of see where it would go. Because normally, I'd hate to say this, but a lot of people use bigger platforms, and I'm guilty of this, using bigger platforms with bigger people as a way to judge their music. Because I'd say that's like a bad idea, because you don't know everybody. So I'm like, I'm using it, you were turning up to this, whatever. I'm thinking, okay, this is great. but it's a bad idea in retrospect. If it was somebody else and the song was trash, basing my entire opinion off of that is terrible.
Yeah, that's definitely inspirational, actually, because that's the thing about the underground, and I feel like that's one of the things that connects us all, is that when we look outside in the real world in contemporary mainstream music, we just don't connect with it on a certain level. I mean, every now and then there's some songs that are like dope as hell. Like, I like listening to Future, and he's considered mainstream. Even Drake sometimes, right? Especially Drake's older stuff. But I don't connect with it in the same way that I do certain tracks in the underground, because there's just something so new, so fresh, and it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, this person understands me. For example, in my case, I like Jewel Set, when they were together, I really like, it was like healing music for me. I know it's crazy, but it really did something special for me. And I feel like that's why people come to the underground, because of the good music, but for the connection it makes people feel.
Most definitely. Actually, I got a story for that. I really did find out about like all of this whole scene around I think 2019, I believe. It was early 2019. And I was getting sick of mainstream. Like, I was really tired of mainstream. It all sounded the same. There was nothing different. And stuff that was different was pretty good. I can't hate. It was pretty good. It did pretty well. But I usually was that type of kid where it was like, because I had that diverse music taste, it was kind of awkward talking about music with me, because I didn't just listen to rap. I didn't just listen to R&B. I listen to rock. Sometimes I even listen to jazz, or I listen to pop, or whatever. Just whatever came to mind, I was just like, let me listen to that. Let me turn that up real quick. Let me crank that like it's some Chief Keef. You know what I'm saying? I was really just one of those kids. So it was really hard having a music conversation with me. I wouldn't say if you didn't have a diverse palette in music. It was really, really difficult for some people. I mean, I don't apologize. It just means broadening your music taste. Growing up, SoundCloud era, I don't think I ever really left that SoundCloud era, to be honest with you, because back in that time when I was a kid, and it was 2016, 2017, 2018, all those fresh sounds, for those back-to-back 3 years, all of the sounds that came out of those years were fresh, were just amazing. It was pure emotion, pure love for music itself, and not only as an artist, but as a person. It made me appreciate music a little bit more, because everybody's collective mindset came together on tracks that had like multiple features on it. So it just showed me like, okay, versatility of, words. So I definitely do appreciate a lot of the underground and a lot of the stuff they did. I don't know, it was just different. It was just really different.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely relate to that as well. I found my way into the underground through Eric DOA and like hyperpop, that whole scene. And
oh yeah,
I remember hearing it was on Eric DOA's second SoundCloud, and it was about that girl Gabby, and like I remember hearing like, damn, this shit is the hardest shit ever. And then the video game references, like for me, when I didn't listen to rap music or R&B or whatever was popping, I loved to listen to video game music. Like, I really love that shit. It's because I associate it with adventure or whatever emotions going on with the game. I'd be infatuated with it, right? And so the fact that they were making these references to something that I enjoyed so much, like I said earlier, we were talking about this, like we feel that connection to the music on a more special level. And I feel like it's really it will become the anthem of our generation. Everything in the underground now is the anthem of our generation. And that's why I feel like it pops up on TikTok so often. And for my next question, how do you feel about the underground's connection and relationship with TikTok?
Man, that's a little bit of a tough one. I think that at the end of the day, and I will literally clown anybody who says TikTok fans, but at the end of the day, that's what puts people's light bills on. That's what keeps people's powers on. That's what keeps people's water running. Without fans, you are nothing. And that's just how it is as an artist. Without fans, you are literally nothing. The fans and the numbers can make or break you. I applaud TikTok as a platform, and I applaud the people in the underground who share these songs. As an artist myself, I've come across it maybe 2 or 3 times where I've seen an edit to my own song. And you don't understand how big edit TikTok is, coming from a person who used to make edits. Like, especially on that side of TikTok, and even though I'm still on that side of TikTok, getting on edit TikTok is literally the best thing you could ever do as an artist. Why? Because other editors are going to use it. It's always going to be available. they're always asking, hey, what's the song? Obviously, there's going to be people gatekeeping, but usually when you catch an edit of that song, if you scroll through the comments, oh, it's by so-and-so. Let me go check out so-and-so's page. Then bam, you got 1K, 2K, 3K, monthly listeners off of that one song just from blowing up on TikTok. And then again, the demographic of the dancers and then the sound users, people who just use the sound for like thirst traps or whatever. That's also really big because then it could get you, it could get you from anywhere to just being a simple underground artist to, like I'm saying, with Ice Spice. Because you never know.
Facts.
You never know what could blow up. Like it's all just a leap of faith. It's all just, hey, let me go ahead and see what I can do. Like at the end of the day, you just have you and you, the microphone, whatever else you use. It's just life. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really have a problem with this little TikTok demographic. I think it's great. I think TikTok is amazing because I find new music, every day on it. I can't necessarily hate, coming from a perspective of me, that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, most of my newer fans are definitely from TikTok. I had a song blow up with Axad. It's kind of crazy. Like, to me, it's completely unreal to see that level of interaction. Like, I'm like, wow. Like, I seen it. There's this one girl, bro. She was fine as hell. And she made like a TikTok to my song. I was just like, this is what I wanted. And this is what I signed up for. But to see it actually happen is kind of crazy. It's even crazier to me. A lot of people in other parts of the underground, because me and you, we're in one part of the underground. But there's a whole other side of the underground that deals with more like mainstream sounding music, and they actually look down on TikTok. Some of them, it's cringy, it's this, it's that, and I can't help but see the similarities between that, people calling people TikTok rappers and stuff like that, to the era when people were doing that with SoundCloud rappers like Lil Uzi, XXX, and stuff like that.
I remember that, especially with Lil Uzi. Y'all call Lil Uzi a SoundCloud rapper, and now he's selling out shows. Like, it blows my mind just sometimes, that level of interaction. Like, sometimes that's like a perfect example. What is it called? Where it's like bad attention is good attention. That's a perfect example because, he's a TikTok rapper. He's a SoundCloud rapper. Young Chris is a great example of that. Everybody called Young Chris a TikTok rapper. And look what he's doing. He's selling out shows in his own city. I don't get it sometimes. You know what I mean? It's kind of it blows my mind. I'm just like, you call these people all this and that. And then at the end of the day, you're the next person buying a ticket to their show. I guess that's just really how life is.
Yeah, I think people do this thing where I see it all the time now. Once I've had this thought, I see it all the time. And it's where people hate to feel important. Like they actively look around and find something to hate so that they can feel important, rather than trying to get out their shell and do something for themselves. People would rather, because it's easier to hate on an artist while not being a successful artist themselves.
Exactly. It's so the reason why it's easier, and coming from a position as a person who actually did this, I'm one of the few people who admit that I was once a hater. It's easier because you can't get clowned for it, if that makes any sense. You can't get clowned for it if it's like a group of your friends. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have a pretty good friend group where not everybody likes the same music, everybody's a little bit different, you can say whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? And obviously you're gonna be like, oh my god, nigga, like you don't know what you're talking about. He makes great music. Nah, I agree with him. He's trash. It's just all about perspective. And at the end of the day, we're all trying to make money. I'm not trying to knock anybody's bad. Do what you want. At the end of the day, it's what's making music, obviously, especially in hating people's sound. I think mostly it's because, one, of the success, and two, they also compare it to other rappers who sound similar, if that makes any sense. So when you hear a rapper that somewhere has a similar cadence or a similar, I guess, way of execution, then you're just like, oh my god, are you serious? Like, he blew up because, he just copied so-and-so. And then it's this whole argument for a week on Twitter. And then sometimes that hate can propel the artist. Like, again, I don't want to be that one person that dick rides, but I'd say a good portion of it also comes from, like, I'd use Young Chris again. Oh my god, he's a TikTok rapper now. Oh my god. Now, I'm assuming it was his friends, but some of them didn't look like it. They were like, I was trying to gatekeep this. And I'm looking at his numbers, and I'm like, these are consistent numbers. So I know the people that are saying it are his fan base, but it's also other people. And then with Young Chris, obviously, we know the whole blood on the leaves thing. I think that also just propelled him higher and higher up. So I think that's, again, another bad publicity is good publicity. That one is what soared him a little bit higher because everybody hates you now. So now you have to make a comeback song. It did amazing. It did great. Completely. Underground was kind of rising a little bit. I know you paid attention to it. And I think another example of that is also Baby Santana, because one, he did say give him his flowers, which I thought was controversial because he hadn't done anything besides be the youngest little nigga on Rolling Loud and the youngest XXL candidate. He didn't even make it on XXL. Still love him though, but it was kind of ironic that you said give me your flowers and you didn't really do anything. So I believe that when rappers make statements or do stuff like that, to the point where it's like, I don't like him anymore, or they make a similar sound like how you said, or just TikTok rapper, SoundCloud rapper, it gives them the publicity. And I think a lot of people realize that, and so they use it. Whether it's create more of a stir, whether it's a song, or whether it's just talking that Twitter, and half of the time it works. I can't knock it. I can't really knock it because that hate can easily go somewhere, if it makes any sense. Hopefully,
it definitely makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
Hopefully.
So my next question for you is like this. So picture yourself in 1 year, you've made it. You're at an acclaimed level. People look to you. You got the million subscribers. You're everywhere. All right. Now you finally got this platform like you've always dreamed of. What's the message you give to your audience?
Do it. That's just like Nike. Do it. Like if you want to do something, do it. Because at the end of the day, you never know what can happen. You never know if you can croak the next day. Do what you've always dreamed of doing. Don't sit around. You want to work out? Work out. You want to make music? Make music. If you want to be bigger than me and I'm at that level, you can be bigger than me. I never say, oh, you can do this, but not be. If you want to be bigger than your favorite artist, go work for it. Because at the end of the day, the best thing you could do is work for it. The best thing you can do is do something. And then let's say it doesn't work out. And then 10 years, you're looking back at it and you're like, oh, do I want to continue? And maybe you're at a different level. You never know. If you want to go pick up weights and be buff like the bodybuilders, go ahead and do it. If you want to pick up a mic, go ahead and do it. If you want to go be an Olympic athlete, whatever, just whatever you want to do, go do it. Life's too short to just sit around all day and complain.
What would you say to somebody who finally they break that barrier, they reach that first degree of success and they start doing whatever they're doing? They start becoming a rapper, releasing their first songs, they start hitting the gym or whatever. What would you say to that person just starting out?
Morals over music. If you know the person isn't a good person, you don't have to work with them. Money isn't everything. Fame isn't everything. You will get there eventually. With consistency and planning, you will get there eventually. Do not be worried that somebody else is doing something. And you know this person, like I'll use this for an example. A person that just has a bunch of rumors around. All right, we all know that one person in the underground that's talked about every week for something new. Okay, he stole my flow, he did this, he did. We all know that one person in the underground, whoever it may be at the time, even today, even now, it could be anybody. You don't want to be in that position. You want to be talked about, but you don't want to be in a position to where you're constantly known for beef. You don't want to be known for something that's not your music. You want to be consistent, you want to be humble, you want to know where you came from, and you want to make connections and stuff. Like all the stuff I'm talking about, I've just seen firsthand. So I'm just like, it's hard to grow image. It's already hard enough it is to get a fan base on SoundCloud. It's already hard enough as it is to get a fan base in general. It's already hard enough as it is to see somebody exposed and then trying to grow a fan base. Like an example, and I know that I'm stretching this out a little bit, but I think that this is important to know. Jace is a huge example of this. He quote unquote snitched. Him and RR have, whatever happened, and it went down and his views went down. And now they're slowly starting to go back up. So instead of him having that consistent 1,500,000, now he has 200,000, 20K a week.
Perfect example with Jace. Because to me, I think it's extremely hypocritical. And every artist has to see it like this, where you yourself, every artist has an aesthetic. There's a lot of similarities to being an artist and being an entrepreneur of a brand. And in marketing and shit like that, we talk about brand equity and what all that is. All that is saying is like how people look at you. Do people trust you, right? And so a lot of the relationship between you and your audience is loyalty. Like, man, I'm gonna always buy this guy album because I know it's gonna be some fire. That's why they tell you to be consistent. So if your message is inconsistent, you like, oh, I don't know, take a nigga Air Forces and jump him in the street. and then you snitch on your guy, your friend too. Like, I thought they were cool. Like, they come from the slave world and all that type of stuff, and then they doing this type of stuff. I think that's very scandalous, and of course people are gonna look down on that type of stuff.
Most definitely. And then it's just kind of like it's really hard to be able to do that, because the last example of a person who was able to successfully do that while they were alive, rest in peace X, but obviously X was a really good example of this. X was that type of person who had this dark aura around him. Everybody who saw the documentary knew that it painted him as a demon. That's just how X was, but he changed. He saw he couldn't be, you can't be a street nigga and a rapper. That's just facts. Lil Reese is an example of somebody who did it, who became a street nigga, and he's getting shot every other 6 months. King Von, person that was a street nigga before a rapper, and it caught up with him. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard, being this big figure with this name, because now you're famous, you have a target on your back. You have to carry yourself a little bit different. You got to make sure, what's the best for you. And it's the same thing with Jace. Oh, you snitched. You know what I'm saying? You did all this. There's a target on your back.
And I think that's why a lot of the messaging in rap is changing. And like this type of stuff that talks about in the underground, like the stuff of real substance is much more different. There's nuances it's different than what it is in the mainstream. Like, and it's because number one, we're young, but number two, like most of us, maybe I'm gonna go ahead and say like 20 to 15% of us are really a part of that street nigga shit, the hood, like real about that lifestyle. But the rest are a bunch of kids in the suburbs who are just looking for a place to be themselves. And I think over time, the whole messaging of rap being crime music is gonna change. I mean, now that's a lot of that has to do with the socio-political climate and all that type of stuff. But from an internal look, that's how I see it. It's just a lot of the rappers now are just gonna be kids from the suburbs for real.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of it is just rich Y2K kids with microphones, and sometimes they get away with it. They get away with it, you know what I'm saying? They have their little setup. Oh, I want to be Baby Santana, they Baby Santana for okay, I got a little fan base, whatever, it works. All right, cool, but that copying somebody else's, it doesn't work. It never works. Just point blank period. Like, just be yourself, be original.
Absolutely. Now, what's something you want people to know now about yourself personally? Like, away from all the rap stuff, what's something about yourself that you want the people to know?
Man, as a person, I don't look for fame. Like, this isn't something I do. I do this to make connections, to make friends, obviously. As a person who obviously went through the pandemic, who was shut out from a lot of life, a lot of fun, just generally, who was already shut out years prior before that. This is who I'm going to hear my personality in my music. You're going to hear me struggle, whether it's with mental health in my music. You're going to hear a lot of me in my music. You're not going to sit here and just listen to somebody, oh, I'm gonna take your jeans. Why? Because I feel like it. I'm not that type of person. You're gonna hear, obviously you're gonna hear that in my music, because it's the type of music I make, but you're going to hear everything else. You're gonna hear my emotions. You're gonna hear whatever. You're gonna hear obviously everything.
This is my last question for you. How do you feel about the underground community in general? You touched on it earlier with, people being about the beef and all that type of stuff, but can you get into more specifically like what that means and your opinion on the underground community as a whole?
This is a community where obviously I won't try to speak for us all, but I'll try to speak for a general opinion that I think is very important. The underground community, personally, if you ask me personally, biased opinion, 100%, honestly, I'm gonna say I love it. I love everything about this community. I love the fresh sounds. I love the fact that we can all come together. You know what I'm saying? And, as a lot of people who make music, I don't want to pay $50 for a beat, So I'm grateful that these people are charging 10 and 5. I'm grateful for the engineers, for a lot of the people who mix my music. I'm grateful for the people I work with, who I'm in collectives with. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for a lot of it because, like I said with the beef, a lot of this shit can go south.
all of it can go south so quickly. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you never know what could happen. You never know, obviously, who you truly know, but at the same time, appreciate the people that you're making music with if you're another artist. Appreciate the people who make these beats. Appreciate the people who mix your music. You know, if you make music like us, appreciate everybody, because you never know what could happen, you know, the next day. You never know if you could wake up with that person with you or not. You never know if you could wake up with a hit or not. So it's all just about appreciation. Now, if you were to ask me in terms of a centered opinion, I'm going to tell you straight up, this community fucking sucks. Like, I love it, but it's just like the people in it. It's all about if you let the people in it control you. And it's just like, don't get me wrong, there's some terrible people. There's some truly really bad people in this community who, again, are, like I said, all you're known for is beef. All you're known for is this. So when you're trying to convey a different message, it doesn't hit with your audience. It never hits with your audience. So then you're sitting over there looking stupid, wondering why your song flopped. Well, you know, you preached about robbing a nigga and now you want to preach about peace? Like, you see where I'm going with this?
Yep.
So it's all just about how you present yourself, how you come correct, because the best thing you could do is be honest. The honesty is better than nothing. I'll say it. You heard it from me. You heard it from Typhoon first. Honesty is better than nothing. Be honest with yourself. It doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, trans, whatever. It doesn't matter if you say you're a fucking pig. Enjoy your life. You will always have a group of people that will always resonate with you and be fond with you and will love you for exactly who you are. That's it. And that's just it. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about what the next person is doing. If you want to do it, if you know the dude use the same beat, fuck it. Use the beat. You think the beat's fire and you want to use it, use it. You never know what you could do that could be better than the next person. Just do whatever you want to do. Obviously, I'm not saying bite. I'm not saying copy. Like, that's like me going on your page and just, oh, I'm going to steal his lyrics. Let me steal the flow. That's not what I mean. What I do mean is, you know, just have fun. Like, if you know somebody else did it and you want to take a try at it, go take that try at it. Go ahead, do it. Doesn't matter. Hey, you want to make a country song, nigga? Go ahead, do it. Do it. Just do it. You never know what could happen. The best advice I could give to anybody. You never know what could happen. Do it.
All right. Now listen. Now's the part of the interview. If you want to give any special shout outs, any special thanks, anything you want to say at all, now's the time to do it.
Man, shout out. Oh man, this is gonna be a long one. Shout out Jinx. Shout out Keku. Shout out MF13. Shout out the entirety of Sincere. Shout out Clism. Shout out my IRL homeboys who supported me since day one. Shit, follow me on all socials also. You know, Typhoon on all socials. SoundCloud, Spotify. Get me to 1K, bro. I just started using Spotify. I'm almost at 1K monthly listeners. I'm currently at 700. Get me to 1K, bro. Give me to 1K. I'm really working hard for that. Who else can I shout out? Damn. Shout out you, actually. Most definitely. Shout out you for even giving me the opportunity. I'm really grateful that I even have the opportunity to have this interview. A lot of people don't really have the opportunity, don't have the ability to get their voice out. So definitely shout out you for even letting me have this interview, especially for, you know, especially a lot of things are going on financially and a lot of people can't even take this interview, you know, without having a phone or anything. Yo, definitely a big ass thanks to you. You're definitely a GOAT for this. And another thing I want to say is that just because you don't have the right equipment as your favorite artist does not mean you cannot make the same music. If anybody ever wondered, I make music on my phone. I mix, master, and produce on my phone. I literally don't do anything else. So if you really think you can't do it, you're wrong. You're so wrong. Like I was saying, shout out to all the guys, shout out the gang, shout out everybody that's ever helped me in my life as a musician. Shout out you for interviewing me, and honestly, do whatever, put your mind to whatever you want to do, and I promise you, life will reward you for trying that hard.
Hell yeah, man. That was hella inspirational. Listen, it's been me, the soldi man, with my boy Typhoon. Don't sleep on him. You don't want to be that guy cut up. No, you want to be the person who knew him before the blow up. Well, listen, follow him on all platforms. Like, comment, subscribe. It's been me, Saintly Silas, the soldi man. And I'm out.